Hello everyone, good morning. Thank you for joining today's webinar on free OpManager training series. Before we start, I would like to get a quick confirmation from you all. If you can hear me well and see the presentation slides, please use the webinar chat panel and type yes. So let us wait for a couple of confirmation and then we can get started. All right, I see a couple of you confirmed saying that you were able to see my screen as well as you can hear me well. So let's get started. My name is Suresh Bakavadi, evangelist for Manage Engine IT Operations Suite. Before I ended up in this role, I was working as a support technician with OpManager technical team and helped customers and prospects around the globe to make best use of IT operations products in their organization. So with all this experience, we are here doing a 4-part free OpManager training series. And as you all know, we have already completed the first 2 parts. The first part that happened on April 3rd on the topic discovery and classification, where we discussed about the different ways of getting your inventories added into your monitoring tool and how to apply filters efficiently to add only the required devices in your monitoring tool. And we also discussed about the integration with ServiceNow, so how you can integrate with ServiceNow to get your inventories and also available in ServiceNow to be added in OpManager automatically. And in the second part that happened on April 10th, we discussed about monitoring the server performance. So where we talked about monitoring the availability of the devices, availability of the processes, services, and also the performance metrics like CPU, memory, disk utilization. And also we discussed about monitoring the virtual servers for VMware, Hyper-V, Zen servers, and so on. So if you have already missed these 2 sessions, don't worry. There is a link posted below in the slide. So you can access that, where we have published the recorded version of the part 1 discovery and classification training session, as well as the monitoring server performance training session. You can find the recorded version there. And in today's topic, we're going to discuss about monitoring network performance. So we're going to talk about network devices, WAN links, VoIP links, and also we are going to discuss about the network maps, so where you can logically group the devices and monitor the devices based on the group. And also next Wednesday on April 24th, we'll be talking about fault management and IT automation. So where we'll discuss about how or what are the different ways that OpManager can identify a fault in your network environment, and also how you can use the workflow IT automation to automate some of the repetitive tasks using these automation tools. And this training session happens in 2 time zones. One is 6:30 GMT, which is right now. And also we do this, we repeat the same session at 11:30 AM EDT. So if you have any colleagues working in Eastern time zone, so you can also request them to join this training session. Or if any of your colleagues also going to miss today's session, you can always share the link with them so that they can access the training material using the link. And also we have a panelist team sitting here to answer all your questions. So during the course of training, you have any questions, please feel free to post it using the webinar chat panel, and our panelist team can answer your questions then and there. Also, the last 10 minutes, we have a dedicated session for question and answers that we receive in today's session. So whatever the questions that we receive from all the audience, we will validate that and take the top 10 questions to discuss in the last 10 minutes so that everyone can benefit out of all those questions. All right, so let's get started with monitoring network performance and network maps. Let me quickly run through the agenda for today's session. Monitoring network performance, so where I'm going to talk about monitoring the various network devices like routers, switches, firewall, load balancers, printers, and so on. And also we discuss about the hardware sensors. So apart from monitoring the performance of the network devices, we also monitor the hardware sensors So we're going to talk about that as well. And creating custom SNMP monitors. So apart from the default templates that we have, apart from the default uh, performance monitors that comes with a template or for the specific models, you can also create your own custom SNMP monitors. So we're going to talk about that. In the newest version, we have simplified creating the custom SNMP monitor. So I'm going to walk you through a quick demo of the newer version of creating custom SNMP monitors and monitoring the WAN and VoIP links. So if you have devices across your network and you wanted to access some of the servers through the WAN links, and it's important to monitor the availability of the WAN links to ensure it is always available or there's no lack in the speed. And also we're going to discuss about the network maps. All right, so these are all the metrics that we will monitor, the basic metrics, and we use SNMP protocol to monitor the network devices. So the ground rule is any device that is pingable and SNMP enabled can be monitored by OpManager, and we also monitor the Cisco UCS, for which we use Cisco UCS API, and the network devices and other infrastructure like printer, UPS, we use SNMP. And for WAN latency check, we use IPSLA, and this is currently supported only for Cisco devices. Similarly, for VoIP, we do it with Cisco devices only with IPSLA. And the only thing that you need to make sure to monitor any network devices is you have to make sure that it is configured with SNMP, and the same SNMP protocol, the information about the SNMP read community or SNMP v3 credential information is passed in the OpManager device, so that when you add those devices in OpManager, we can communicate to the end device through the SNMP protocol and monitor the performance for you. So let's talk about the network performance of monitoring a router. So when you go ahead and add a router in OpManager, it is going to monitor the availability, response time, packet loss, and apart from that, it also monitors the temperature. It also monitors the router specific performance metrics for you. And according to the category of the devices, say you also want to monitor a switch, and apart from the basic monitors like CPU, memory, it also monitors the backplane utilization, and for a firewall, it also monitors the active session count. So I'll take you through the product to show you how a router snapshot page looks like. So this is one of the demo version of OpManager. Please excuse me, it is taking a while to load. Looks like there is a problem. I'll see if I can use the demo version available in the website. So this demo.opmanager.com will be accessible for you globally. You can access this particular demo.opmanager.com site anywhere from the world. So this is the inventory page that we are in right now. Let me drill down to the devices page. And so you have a beautiful sorting option. So you can drill this down based on category, type, or vendor. So I wanted to go to a router. So I just click on this router drill down. So let me log into so this is the router snapshot page. And when you go to router graph, and you will see that the basic performance metrics of the router information like CPU, memory. Apart from that, you can also monitor the buffer hits, the buffer failures, buffer misses, Cisco memory utilization of this particular device. And all this can be monitored when a router is added, and based on this particular template, Cisco 2900 series, it is going to add all these performance metrics that are available here as and when the device gets added to your monitoring tool. and it is going to report all the information in the router graph. And also, when you wanted to monitor the printer performance, so we also monitor an extensive printer. So I'll just go to device templates and show you the number of printer that we support. We currently support around 589 different models of printers. As you can see, around 530. Let me take Epson as an example. So if you see, this is the template that is available for Epson printer, and whenever you add an Epson printer in OpManager, it's going to match that with device identifier. On matching this device identifier, it is going to associate the printer model as Epson printer, the vendor as Epson, and the category as printer. And also you see the various performance metrics, the total number of pages printed, available black toner percentage, the supplies percentage, the pages printed, average marker count life. So everything. Apart from that, if you wanted to add some more monitors, you can just always click on add and add the relevant monitors from the host resource monitors or from the vendor monitors. If you wanted to add a new monitor, you can always click on SNMP and go ahead and add a new SNMP monitor for it. So we have a slide to talk about this. I'll talk about creating a custom SNMP monitor in detail. And next, we also monitor the bandwidth and traffic utilization on the routers and switches on servers as well. So it is purely SNMP based monitoring, and we do have a module to monitor the interface information based on the flow. So flow-based interface bandwidth traffic analysis is done using NetFlow Analyzer. So it's also available as an add-on to OpManager product, or it is also available as a standalone product. So where you get enough information, you get more information about the conversation to know where the traffic is coming from, where the traffic is going to, and which user is utilizing maximum of your traffic, which application is consuming your bandwidth, and so on. But with this basic SNMP information, we still monitor the bandwidth usage, errors, discards, received and transmitted traffic, total bytes received, total bytes transferred, and real-time interface monitors. Let me quickly jump to the product and show you. Okay, I think the demo is currently ready. In the meantime, I'll also show you. Okay, go to inventory page. Select the router. So if you click on interfaces, it is going to list all the interfaces being associated with this particular router. And you click on this real-time graph. And if you have any traffic that is flowing through currently, it will show you a graph of the live traffic as well. And if you click on this particular interface snapshot page, it's going to show you the information about the interface details, like the interface name, the parent of the interface, the speed, the total in traffic, out traffic, and so on, and the total bytes transferred from this link, and the interface traffic utilization, the total utilization, errors, discards, discard rate, the packets, number of packets transmitted, number of packets received, error rate, and so on. And here is a tip where you wanted to pull out a report for all the interfaces for the performance metrics that you wish to add. So you simply select all the interfaces and you hit on generate report. You select the time period that you wanted to pull out a report for, and you wanted to see the received traffic, the number of errors received, number of discards received, number of received transaction, the total utilization, and so on. Just click on generate report, and it is going to give you the entire report for you. And this one will not be possible if you go to generate the reports. Under the reports, you have some standard reports that are available. But if you wanted to pull out a report for multiple performance metrics versus multiple interfaces, and you can do that only from the inventory page by selecting all the devices or all the interfaces. The next, interface templates. Like device templates, we also have templates for interfaces. So that helps you do some bulk configuration. Say you do not want to monitor the up-down status, the status polling of any particular interface, then you can go ahead and enable or disable those interfaces for the specific type. And for some of your critical interfaces, by default, the monitoring interval will be set for 15 minutes, and you want some of the critical interfaces to be monitored at 10 seconds interval, then you can go ahead and configure that on the specific template. Configuring threshold for utilization, errors, and discards. So you can do this in a bulk based on type. And enabling or disabling the status polling. So enabling or disabling the monitor here will just not monitor all the performance metrics like errors, discards, and utilization, but disabling the status polling will disable the status poll alone, will disable the availability polling alone. But apart from that, all the rest of the performance metrics will be monitored. Let me quickly show you where this is available. If you go to settings and interface template, so this is where it is available. Say I wanted to do some bulk configuration for based on a type for this particular Ethernet. I can select and I can mention the monitoring interval. So if I wanted to do this for 500, 5 minutes, I can do that. And I wanted to configure the threshold for utilization, error, discard, I can do that. And I can decide whether to enable or disable the status polling. Then I can click on save and apply. Okay, so this is a demo version, so you cannot do any write operations. And then you can go ahead and apply this to all the interfaces. And next we have is interface groups. So the interface templates is going to help you do some bulk configuration based on type. But then what is the need for interface groups? Interface groups is something new addition to the product, and you wanted to create an interface group based on site, department, or customers. You can do that, and let me quickly show you. The one prerequisite of doing this is I recommend you to create the custom fields. So whatever the additional fields that you have created for interfaces to mention the floor, to mention the location, or to mention the place, you can add that, and you can import all those values here in the interface fields, so that on matching the interface name, so you have a sample file here, so you just need to browse the respective file and upload it here. And once it is uploaded, on matching the interface name, it is going to associate the relevant information to those devices. And once this particular step is done, you can go to groups, this is the interface group. So once you have the additional fields set and imported all the values, so you just go ahead and click on this add, and you mention a group name and click on next, and then you just select the interfaces, and here you can match this based on the criteria. If the interface name contains, or if the interface name starts with WAN, or let's say if the circuit if the circuit ID contains 34. So similarly, you can add the criteria based on your need, and just click on next, and it is going to list all the interfaces that matches those criteria. And go back. Okay. Okay, so it's going to list all the interfaces for you, and you can select the respective interfaces of your choice, and you can just click on save to save the group. And once the group is added, okay, where is the presentation? Okay, here you go. So you wanted to do bulk threshold settings for custom interface groups. So from the template, what you can do is you can do it only for the specific type. But if you create a group, that can be a combination from the multiple interface types. So from group, you can do bulk configuration thresholds to various devices. So if you go to interface templates, and here you have interface groups, and here you can just go ahead and add a group. Sorry. Okay, you go to settings and interface templates, and under the groups, you can just click on that respective group. So you can do bulk configuration changes for your utilization and error rate, discard rate, and so on. And you can just save and apply, so that all the interfaces which are the part of this particular group will be configured with the current configuration. And next is you have dashboard for groups and subgroups. Let me quickly show you that as well. Go to settings and groups. Here you have a separate dashboard available for each groups and subgroups. So this is a subgroup which is for the WAN links. It gives you the summary with the group name, the member type, and the availability distribution. And also you have the recent interface alarms from this respective group, and also the interface list. So from here, you can either navigate to interface snapshot page, or you want to go to the respective device, the parent device, you can also navigate from here. Next, so this is a group which is a group created for multiple interface groups that has been created. So it has all the group names available, and you wanted to drill down to one of these groups. You can drill down so that it takes you to the group snapshot page of that subgroup, and you can see all the relevant information from here. And you go to dashboard, and that, let's say I go to network top 10, and from here I can apply filters based on the interface groups. So I can pull out the dashboard widgets data for all the interface related performance metrics, and from here I wanted to apply the filter to see the data only for the respective group or respective customers or respective site or respective department. I can do it from here. And similarly, you can also apply this filter based on the reports. So you go to reports, and you wanted to pull out the reports for all interface utilization, and from here you wanted to apply filter based on the group. So you can do that as well. So that's what has been mentioned here. You can apply filters based on interface groups and widgets, as well as you can apply filters based on interface groups and reports. All right, and we also monitor the hardware sensors like power, temperature, voltage, battery, disk array data, the fan status, and so on. And the supported vendors at the moment are Cisco, Juniper, Dell, and HP. For network devices, it is purely based on SNMP, and for VMware, we support monitoring that to VMware API. So how to enable this? By default, this will be disabled, and you have to go to settings, system settings and hardware monitor to enable your hardware monitor so that you can monitor the availability of the hardware sensors for fan, processor, and so on. Let me quickly show you how you can do that. You go to settings and system settings, and if you click on hardware, here you can mention whether you wanted to enable the hardware monitor so that you can start seeing the alarms for the hardware sensors, and you wanted to pull out a report for hardware sensors. Go to health and performance. From the report section, you have hardware health report. So here you can just select the respective node, and you wanted to pull out a report for specific hardware sensor monitor, then you can select that. Now it currently shows the data for fan on PM, and you wanted to check this out for other monitors, you can do that as well. All right, so next we have is the creating custom SNMP monitors. So for which the only two prerequisites are you have to make sure that the end device that you're monitoring should be SNMP enabled, and once that is placed, then you have to have the MIB files for the respective vendors. So once you get this MIB files from the vendors, so what is a MIB file? That contains the collection of OIDs, which has the information about, say you wanted to monitor a CPU, and the MIB file will have the OID for the CPU monitor. So you can add that OID and monitor the CPU information. Similarly, you wanted to monitor a temperature, or you wanted to monitor a backplane utilization on a switch for which a default monitor is not available, and you wanted to add that as a custom SNMP monitor, then you need the MIB file. If you wanted to get the MIB file, you have to contact the vendor and get it, or there's always things available in Google. You can check for oidview.com, that has got a lot of MIB files from various vendors available. So you can download, you can mention the model and download the MIB files from there. And what is next? I have the MIB file. I know the device is SNMP enabled. Then how do I go ahead and add a custom SNMP monitor? So first thing is to upload your MIB file to OpManager server. And how do you do that? You go to settings, and you go to tools, and you go to MIB browser. From here you can simply browse and upload the file. But this is the only way. If you do not have an direct access to the server, this is the only way to upload the MIB file. But I do not recommend doing it here, because let's say you collected the MIB file for a specific model where you have 25 MIB files. So it is a painful process to browse and upload each and every file one by one. Instead of that, you can go to OpManager server, and you go to OpManager MIBs folder, and you simply copy all the MIB files under that location, and that is all enough. You don't need to restart the server, you don't need to restart the service. Once you place the MIB files there, you can start browsing that through the MIB browser and start monitoring it. So let me quickly show you a couple of examples on how to create a custom SNMP monitor. So you go to settings. Okay, let me try to do this from one of the device. Okay, I just navigate to this device snapshot page, and under the monitor section, this is going to have all the list of performance metrics available for that particular device. I wanted to create an additional monitor. I go and I click on performance monitor. I'm sorry. We have to click on add SNMP. Okay, I clicked on a wrong. It takes some time. Okay. Got back again. Okay, under the monitor section, you just click on add SNMP monitor, and from here you just need to choose the OID from the respective MIB file. Once you copy all the MIB files to your OpManager server, you can just browse it from here. Say I wanted to browse this host resource map, and I wanted to search for HR storage used, and selecting the OID from here. And some of your OIDs might bring the value with a combination of 2 or 3 OIDs. Like you wanted to do some arithmetic operation, like adding these 2 OIDs and multiplying that with another value from OID. So you can do all those operations right here. Say I wanted to add this and select another OID, I can do that. So likewise, you can apply various arithmetic operations to pull out information. And when you have this, say I received the information of this value in byte and I wanted to convert that value to see it in gigabyte, I can do that. Or you're adding a temperature monitor and you wanted to convert the value that you receive in Celsius to Fahrenheit, you can do that. Or you wanted to convert that value which you are receiving in Fahrenheit to Celsius, you can also do that. So once I do this, I can query this device to see whether it is responding, whether it is bringing the data for me or not. And if it is a multiple OID, it's going to show, it's going to have information for 1, 2, 3, and 4 based on the monitors that you have. And this is a disk monitor, so it has some disk information of 4. And you wanted to see all the instance, or you wanted to go by selected instance, you can do that. And right now it says just .1, .2, .3, .4, which is not meaningful. So I wanted to get information. So I select the index OID and I select the description. See, now I know. So this means a physical memory, this means the virtual memory, this is E drive and C drive. And here I have an option to select. So if I do not want to monitor the information of a physical memory or virtual memory, I wanted to see only the data of E drive and D drive, I can select that. I can go next. I can provide a meaningful name. I can select the monitoring interval. I can apply the units, and I can select the stored data. And I can just go ahead and add this monitor. That's it. So this is how you can add a custom SNMP monitor. And this is the simplified version, which is available in the newer version. And monitoring the WAN infrastructure is always complicated because it involves ISP routers. When something goes wrong, you need to know whether the problem is within the network or whether the problem is from the ISP router. Let's say you have your development center available in India, and you have your headquarters placed in California, Pleasanton, and the employees from your development center in India are trying to access some of the critical applications like CRM or ERP applications through WAN link, and you have to make sure that this particular WAN link is always accessible and there is no slowness happening in this WAN link, because it is important. And when something goes wrong, you need to know where the problem is, whether it is from your end or whether it is from the ISP router. So WAN performance monitoring in OpManager helps you monitor and identify the network paths with high round trip time, and identify where the outage happened by viewing the hop-wise latency graph. And it collects IPSLA traps for events such as connection loss, threshold violation for round trip time, average payload, timeout, etc. And how do you add this WAN monitor? Some of the prerequisites are it should be a Cisco router with an IPSLA agent enabled, and the iOS version must be 12.3 or later. And the SNMP read and write community should be configured on the device, because when you provide all this information and add a monitor, it's going to write this configuration in your router, so for which the write community is required. And you can also configure the devices to send traps to OpManager server. And how do you add it? You have to go to network and select IPSLA and select WAN monitor to add it. Let me quickly show you how you can do that from here. Go to IPSLA from the network, and select WAN monitor, and you click on the plus icon at the top right corner. You provide the WAN monitor name and select the source device, and then select the source interface, and select the destination IP. The destination IP can be any IP across the network, and provide a display name and save it. So the configuration is quite straightforward. And go to dashboard. You have a separate dashboard available for IPSLA WAN monitors. So it gives you the information of the least performing paths and the call path and the hop-wise graph as well. So you wanted to go to a snapshot page of the WAN router. So go to the respective device. It's going to give you the minimum round trip time, the average round trip time, the maximum round trip time, and it gives you the information of the threshold violation history, the round trip time history, the available history, and so on. Similarly, you can also monitor the VoIP performance. So you can monitor the jitter to understand the variation in delay between the arriving packets. You can also monitor the latency to understand the time taken for the voice packets to reach the destination. And you can monitor if there is any packet loss during the transmission, and the mean opinion score. You can also monitor the standard for measuring codes, and it's rated on a scale from 1 to 5. And as similarly for WAN RTD, you can also create your own you also have this VoIP monitor available, and you select the VoIP monitor. You get information about the source, destination jitter, destination source jitter, source destination packet loss, source destination latency, the MOS history, the positive and negative jitter from destinations to source or source to destination. You can have all this information as well. And next we have is the business views. So you wanted to group the devices based on a geographical site, or department, or business service. You can create, and you can add links between devices and monitor the link connectivity. You can also add a shortcut. Say you have multiple groups available, or you have multiple sites available in one particular location. So you can create one main branch, and you can, under the branch, you can create multiple branches for which you need to create a shortcut. And you can also restrict user based on a business view group. Let me quickly show you a demo of it. So you go to maps section, and you can create a business view, and it's all going to be drag and drop. You can also search for the devices that you want. Okay, and you wanted to add a link between devices. You go ahead and add a link between devices, and that will display the interfaces from both the devices, the device from A and device B. So you can, it allows you to pick the interfaces from the respective option, and you can go ahead and monitor the link availability of the devices as well. And you wanted to create a shortcut within this particular business view. Go ahead and create a shortcut. Let's say I wanted to create this as a shortcut to this business view. So now this will be available as a shortcut to this main branch. So I save this. Okay, I don't have a right operation permission on this demo version. So when I click on it, it will take me to the respective device from here. And next we have is network maps. So we have Google Maps and Zoho Maps. Google Maps is now charged, and if you wanted to integrate the Google Map with OpManager, you can follow the instructions available on the Google Maps page, and you have to pay something for it, and you need to get the key and upload that to get the integration work. Zoho Maps is something available within our, it's our own software, and we have the integration enabled by default. For Google Map, you need to make sure that you follow all this instruction, and you need to get the API key after enabling the licenses and upload that here so that you can get the Google Map working. But Zoho Maps is something that is available within us, so we have integrated the Zoho Maps as our own tool, and you wanted to add devices in a specific location. You have some critical servers in Canada, and you wanted to place those devices here, and just go ahead and select that device and place that in the respective location. So you can, when you highlight it, you can see what type of device it is, and you wanted to know the current status of the device. You can just click on it, and it will take you to the respective device. And building racks in 3D floor view for your, say you have servers available in data centers, and you wanted to create the exact replica of your data center, then you can go ahead and use this rack view and 3D data center builder. So it's going to give you the rack, and you can mention the number of rows that's available, and you can just drag and place the devices in the rack, and you can mention the number of view size, and you can also change the color from black to white according to your requirement. You can save it. So likewise, if you have multiple racks in the data center, you can create multiple racks, and you wanted to place that in the 3D floor view, you can do that. So once you have all the rack builders created, so you just drag and drop the racks and place it in the floor that you want, and you can create a path, aisle, you can create a wall according to your requirement. Save it. So this gives you the 3D view of your data center, and it also gives you the current severity, current alarm status on this particular rack. And apart from that, you have dashboards and widgets. You can create a custom dashboard according to your requirement. Say you're monitoring various information, and you wanted to create a separate dashboard for total network traffic across all servers. You can create a separate dashboard for that. And you wanted to know the high CPU and memory utilization of your servers, you can create a separate dashboard for that. You wanted all the active alarms to be displayed in a separate dashboard, you can create a separate view for that. And you wanted to pull out a downtime report for all devices, you can create your own view. And you wanted to create a common dashboard to see the entire IT summary, you can create a dashboard for that as well. And when you create a dashboard, this is something new addition in the product as well, and you wanted to restrict access to certain users. So you have Joshua and Nick from server team, and you wanted to give them access only to the server dashboard, you can do that right now. And George is the only person available in the network team, and you wanted to give him access to network and real-time data, you can provide access. And whereas Amanda is the administrator and you wanted to give her the entire access to all the dashboard information, you can do that as well. So let me quickly jump to the product. So you go to dashboards, and from here at the top right corner, you just click on this plus icon and click on new dashboard. If you see now, we have an IT summary dashboard created here, the total server traffic utilization, all devices downtime, high CPU and memory dashboard. So let me create a separate dashboard to pull out information only based on the alarms and events. So I wanted to see the alarms for a device, alarms from SNMP traps, all alarms, devices with alarms, the recent alarms. So all alarm related information, I wanted to create a separate view for it. I can create it, and if I click on next, you see it is asking me to provide this access whether to administrator or to operator access. So if I have a team of 5 members, I would have created all the 5 members, given access to them in OpManager, and Joshua or Nick or Amanda all will be listed here. And if they are an operator user, I do not want them to access this specific dashboard. I wanted to give this access only to the administrator. I can select administrator and click on create. So now this dashboard is created, and if you see, we have more than 10 dashboards available, and every time you wanted to see information, you wanted to drill down to each and every dashboard to see that information. But there is another tip for you. You have a knock view option. So if you wanted to create a combination of multiple dashboards to see in your knock view, where you can project this in your TV, say I knock view ID summary, and I wanted to display all the ones that I've created right now. So I can go ahead and add it. If I create a knock view for this, and I wanted to see this, so I just go to the knock view and click on knock view ID summary. And this now has around 5 dashboards created, and on an interval of 30 seconds, it's going to roll out. So once one information on that one, the dashboard information is seen, after 30 seconds, the other dashboard is displayed, and after 30 seconds, the third dashboard is displayed, and so on. I think it's again some problem with the demo. Let me see. In the meantime, I can show that from the demo of the product. Go to real-time view. I think this looks better. So the number of dashboards that you have selected is going to be listed here, and you see the timer here. Once the timer comes to 0, the next dashboard is displayed, and you wanted to change this view from night mode to daylight. You can just click on that icon available at the top right corner, and you wanted to resize the widget size, you can do that as well. So once it is resized and the monitor is adjusted to the size automatically, so you have some information need to be rearranged, or you wanted to extend a particular widget, you can do that. All right, so with that, we are coming to the end of this training part, and this is some information, some announcement. We have a user conference in Dallas coming up next week, and you have any colleagues available in US who wish to participate in the user conference. So this is not specific to IT operations, this is specific to Manage Engine. So on the Manage Engine, we have 30 plus products available, right from IT help desk management, Active Directory management, and IT operations management, applications management, IT security management, desktop management, and so on. So we are going to run an extensive presentation for all these products in the 3 days on 24, 25, and 26. If any of your colleagues interested, you can just pass on the link to them to get registered for it. And with that, we have validated the questions that we received in today's session. And I'm going to pass on this presentation now to Sanjeev, who is one of the panelists and product specialist. So he has all the questions listed.
Oh, hello everybody. This is Sanjeev, product expert and panelist from Manage Engine. We have had some interesting questions for this part 3 webinar. So let us just review this one by one. First up, we have desktops connected to switch ports that shut down every day at 6 p.m. and turn back again at 9 a.m. I want only to view the traffic details of the interface and not its up or down status. What should I do? Fair enough. So let's go to the actual snapshot page. Just a second. Let me get to the snapshot page now, just a second. So when you go to the device snapshot page, you actually have the inventory where you will actually have the list of interfaces that are listed. So this could be probably done in more than a couple of ways. So if you would like to, select specific interfaces and then unmanage it, you can just select it here and then you can click on this filter, and there is an option called as status poll where it will help you to enable or disable the alerts or the alarms that are generated for the interfaces. So this probably is a better way where you might not be able to receive any unwanted alerts for day in and day out, ports that are actually being used. So in this probably could be more related to, your status disabling for specific devices. And let's say it's going to be for any network devices like the HP switch, where you wanted to do a bulk operation of disabling the status pool, you can just go to the device snapshot page and then you have an option called as configure interfaces, under which you will have an option where you will be able to select it and then go down and then save the changes in order to take effect. So this probably is a quicker way, as well as you can actually go to the individual snapshot page as well and then take things forward. Next up, we have question on when discovering interfaces, is there a limit on the license file? No, absolutely no. So we don't have any restrictions with related to the interfaces. So a core switch or a network device can have as many as interfaces as it can, and we don't have any restriction or imply anything related to the interface count. What is the purpose of the protocol CDP in layer 2 discovery? Well, this was one of the questions also in the panel. So this is more related to the Cisco discovery protocol, which was probably used to identify on what are the neighboring devices that are available in the network. And this can also help administrators to have a better understanding of the devices which are contained in their IT infrastructure. So when you wish to probably know more about it, you can just use the command show CDP neighbor or show CDP neighbor details to get more information of your connected devices in your IT infrastructure. I would like to disable modules which I'm not using from the dashboard. Is it possible? Well, let's see it here. So when you go to the device snapshot page, and then when you go to the settings tab, you have the basic settings tab, under which you can go to the system settings tab, followed which when you actually go down this page, you will find an option where you will have a set of displayed module. So once when you uncheck all of those modules, you can just save it so that the rest of the modules won't be displayed or visibly seen in the dashboard. So once when these changes are saved, you will see that the dashboard page will not carry more of the information that is actually required. Next up, we have, can we display the real-time traffic data for few interfaces in a dashboard? Well, let's check it out. So when you go to the dashboard page, and then when you go here, or probably take an example of any one of the dashboards that has already been created. So let me go to the page. Just getting a bit slow, so just trying to get to the page now. Just give me a few more minutes. All right. Let me check if there is anything alternative that I can find here. right, there you go. So when you go to dashboards and when you go to any specific dashboards that you wanted, you can just go here and then click on the add widgets icon. So over here, as the earlier question was, will I be able to see any real-time traffic of my critical interfaces in the dashboard? You can just select this and then you will have something called as a real-time traffic widget that would be displayed. All you'll have to do is just select the appropriate device and then save the changes so that you will have the list of interfaces being visibly seen. And once of that is done, you will be able to see the real-time traffic for that specific critical interfaces that you require. Next up, I've created a couple of dashboards of various data. However, I wanted to mark my favorite dashboard as default. How do I do that? So basically, this is all about marking the data as a default dashboard. So once when you go to any of these settings, so let me take an example of my network top 10. And if you wanted to get any information on this, then you can just set it as default so that this specific dashboard would be set as the default view. How do I embed a widget in other portals like SharePoint? Fair enough. So if you probably would require any of your third-party websites or to know more intrinsic details on what details that you require from a third-party website day in and day out, you can just add a widget called as uh, custom HTML or text. So let me go here again. Let me add the widget again, just a second. So likewise, as you see that when you actually go to the snapshot page, you will actually have something called as an add widget option. So I'm just taking an example. It's getting a bit slower, so probably it's just taking more time than it is actually being expected. So just give me a few more seconds. Okay, let's get to the next question. So we have something called as a custom HTML or text that will help you to embed that specific dashboard page and then take things forward. Is there a way to alert if the OpManager installed server takes huge space? Yes, we do have an option. In fact, there are quite a couple of options that could help you to achieve this. So first up, we have something related to the self-monitoring feature. So once when you go to settings and then basic settings, you have something called as a self monitoring where you can actually make a note of the free disk space that is contained for the OpManager installed server. So just in case if there is the free disk space which is getting less than 5 GB, then you can actually send it out as an email or show it through a notification. Or let's say for example, if it is for the OpManager installed IP itself or the OpManager contains server, you can actually go to the monitors tab and then take a look at the disk utilization. So if you find that the disk percentage is going low, you can use it, or probably you can go with the free disk space in GB or use the space in GB monitor. So there are quite a lot of different ways for you to analyze and then take things forward. Let's get to the next question. Should the IPSLA responder be enabled on both source and destination? It should be, it could be on either side. Perhaps it would be more convenient if it's going to be on the destination end. So the best practice, what we suggest you to do is on the destination end. And the command that we use to enable the responder on the source destination would be show enable IPSLA responder. So you'll have to get into the configuration terminal of the router and then set things forward. Does the application support Canon printers? Yes, we do have the support, and as discussed by my colleague in the earlier scenario, all you'll have to do is just go to settings and then configuration, go to the specific device template, and then look out or watch out for the type called Canon. So you will have the template called as Canon printer. So this will be a template as well as it will list the set of performance monitors that are available here, and then it will map the device to the right type and category based on whatever protocol that you have provided. So SNMP, as we say, is the only recommended option in this case. All right, so we've come to the end portion of it. So if in case if you probably would need more help, we are here to help you with the YouTube OpManager tech videos. So you can take a look at the videos that we post day in and day out, as well as we have the help.opmanager.com to give you more visibility on the insights of OpManager. Plus, there are some active discussions that is also happening in the community. So you can take a look at the forums.manageengine.com/opmanager, and we are also available through our email channel plus the toll-free number that is marked here in this presentation. And our next training schedule is probably proposed for this April 24th. So do watch out for the fault management and IT automation. So that probably will have more insights related to the alarm severity levels, the VMware's traps, syslogs, and workflow automation. So quite a lot of interesting things to go forward with it. So with that, we have come to the end of it. And I would like to thank each one and all for attending this training. So if in case if you have any feedback, do let us know. Thanks once again for your time and have a great day.